Now, cats, we're back again this week on the Balls from Ellwood show, and what a time and what a place it is. What a wacky, wacky world we're living in, Xtina.
That is very true, Balls. We are living in a wacky world, so wacky that my hair changed colors. Holy crap, who is your new co-host?
Wow.
Where did she come from?
This chick's pretty hot. I might keep her.
All right, I'm glad to hear that. It's quite a drastic change. I'm still getting used to it. Leave your comments below if you like Xtina's hair, or if she should go back dark. Anyway, if you don't know who the hell we are, we're Balls and Xtina.
I'm Balls.
And I'm Xtina, and we do this show every week for your viewing pleasure. And,
all 10 of you.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you, guys. All 10 of you.
And, you know, here we are again, and what we're going to do today is tell you what we always tell you about all kinds of cool stuff that we do, like watch movies and, you know, listen to music. And we mostly love horror, and we mostly love punk rock and ska. What else do we do, Balls?
Oh, well, you talk about true crime every week. You find the most fucked up story, and it's called Xtinas Depravity Corner.
That I do.
And this beautiful woman will tell you the most fucked up story of the week as well. So, but let's just get right into it. You know, we did a little watching over the past few days here. I mean, you gotta have some escapism in this crazy time, cats. I mean, it's just so. I mean, I'm not going to dwell on it. I'm not going to bring the show to a screeching halt. If you want pretty much my view on the whole thing, I seen a very brilliant thing from Dave Chappelle, the comedian, today, and it pretty much encompasses everything that I feel too. So, you know, I'm going to put that link up. Check it out. I think it's required viewing for everybody, and I mean, it addresses it exactly how I would do. So there's no sense in even beating a dead horse. Everybody knows how important equality is. So why, you know? So don't. We might, you know. I will say one thing though, but I'm just going to touch on it real quick and be done though. I really hate, much like whenever the coronavirus started, you know, all these fucking Z-grade celebrities start getting in the mix, and you know, I hate when they're making shit about them. You know. Here's, you know, I'm going to go on my soapbox here. Like, if you've seen. I can't even remember. Half of the people on there are even unrecognizable because they're fucking like Z grade like TV stars, you know. And you're making it about you at this point, you know. Like, if they thinking they're fucked up like celebrity head or barely celebrity head, that somebody's gonna see their stupid fucking, you know, soliloquy or what they think about racism. And some fucking stupid, you know, mouth-breathing racist asshole is going to be like, oh, you know what? Oh, they feel that way? Oh, well, I'm going to change my beliefs now. You're so full of yourself, you're fucking crazy. So, fuck you. Here's a good idea. If you have money, why don't you put some money toward the cause? Not everything has to be fucking publicized that, oh, what a great fucking person I am, and oh, look at what I'm doing. Just fucking do it. Some of the best people that contribute and make a difference in this society, they don't talk about it. You know why? Because they really give a fuck. Right. When I see people like that, all I can say is "fuck you." You're not really about the cause. You're about, oh, look at me. Look how fucking I'm an opera singer. Me. Right. Look how fucking nice I look. Fuck you. Fuck you all. Like, seriously, put your money where your mouth is, cunts. That's pretty much where I'm at.
Wow.
Balls is in a shitty mood today.
Tell us how you really feel, Balls.
I'm editing myself. I'm a little riled up. So that shit gets me even more riled up. So let's calm down a little bit.
Well, let's calm down and talk about something fun.
Yeah.
What was fun this week? Did we watch anything cool?
Yeah, we watched some cool stuff.
All right.
I watched Becky. Why don't you tell them a little bit about Becky? I fucking loved it, man.
Becky. I can't tell you enough about Becky. First of all, Kevin James. You know, King of Queens, Kevin James. Joel McHale, you know, the soup guy on E! Comedians, right? Yeah, not in this movie. Kevin James plays a
white supremacist,
convict, Nazi, whatever.
Real piece of shit.
And
which I don't think there's much acting involved. I heard he's a real big dickhead in real life.
Yeah, that might have been his true self, you know.
So, you know,
but I mean, he has like a what is that? A swastika?
He has a swastika on the back of his head. He has the fucking the SS on the side.
Oh, it's wild.
He looks pretty. I gotta say, he looks pretty villainous.
Oh, he does. He does. And I mean,
I never thought I'd be scared of Kevin James.
I know he was pretty freaking scary in this. And if you that alone, I think, should make you want to watch this movie. But if that alone doesn't, let me tell you about Becky. This girl that plays Becky.
Was it Lulu Wilson?
Lulu Wilson. Let me tell you, she's what, 14 years old?
Yeah.
This girl has quite the resume already, and I look for her to be a big, big star. She carried that movie like you wouldn't believe, and this little girl can kick some ass.
Yeah.
She was incredible. And then you can't forget about Diego and Dora. And I'm not going to tell you who they are until you watch the movie. You'll find out. They were my favorites.
You know what? I was kind of like the last one on the Lulu Wilson train. I never heard of her up until this movie. So, I mean, I got to say I'm a fan now. Like, she's an incredibly competent little actress. And I got to say, they pulled off some really decent gore effects. I have to say, it's pretty gory. And I really enjoyed it, man. Like, I've seen people compare this movie to like Home Alone meets this and that. Whatever. But I went in with pretty high expectations and I came out pretty pleasantly pleased. So I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think it's one of the better things I've seen this year.
Very much so. Very much so. I can't recommend it enough. Get out there and watch Becky. Well, stay home and watch Becky because you can't get anywhere. What's it on? I think it's on Amazon.
I think you can rent it on Amazon. I think it's $3.99 if I'm not mistaken.
I think it's probably a lot more than that.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I think they're gouging people during the corona.
Well, I tell you, whatever the cost, it's definitely worth it.
It's worth every penny.
It's a good night at the movies, man. So even if the movie theater happens to be your sofa, check out Becky for sure. One thing that I actually got to check out that Xtina was snoozing on, she was watching the latest inclination of The Bachelor.
Greatest hits, people. Check it out.
I got to watch a really incredibly, and I was surprised. It was actually kind of emotional and endearing. I watched this documentary, and it was about the actor Mark Patton. Who's that, you may say? Well, it is Jesse Wagner. I think his name's Jesse Wagner in Nightmare on Elm Street 2. It's Jesse something. But they did a whole documentary on this guy, and here's why. It's called Scream Queen, My Nightmare on Elm Street. It's the Mark Patton story. When he had started Nightmare on Elm Street 2, you know, he was a closeted gay man, and at the time, you know, nobody knew. You know, at that point, there was so much, you know, just racism and you know, it was just, it's such a scary time for people like that he had to kind of pretty much live in the closet to maintain a regular career, which is sad. And I have to say the movie ruined his life. Like, he was actually an up-and-comer. He was on Broadway. He worked with Cher. He did a bunch of incredible things. He was getting a lot of TV things. And then Nightmare on Elm Street 2 killed his whole career. He went into hiding for 30 years. He's just now coming back out and explaining the story. I don't want to tell too much about it, but I mean, it touches on, you know, so many different levels. Not only he talks about Nightmare on Elm Street 2, which is cool, and I mean, it did become... I remember when I was a kid that people used to say there was a lot of like gay innuendo in it, and like you know, it was just thought it was coincidence, or you know, people might be reading too much into it. But the writer actually did finally come out and say, yeah, you know, he did, but he was in a war with this guy for 30 years because he had said, oh, there wasn't, you know, subtext in it at all. It's just the casting made it that way, which was like shooting arrows at Mark Patton, and he took it very personally. But not only that, you get to talk, you know, they talk to Robert Englund, they show fans at conventions, they show them their support of, you know, it's become a real cult classic over the years. When it first came out, people really hated it. And now people have grown to love it, and I think it's more or less for this reason. Not only that, I mean, you're not just watching a documentary about Dopey Nightmare on Elm Street 2. It's very touching, and it's about, you know, love and actually, and you know, people's relationships with each other. I mean, he got, you know, he had HIV for a long time, and he actually recovered from it. It talks about the 80s and the times of how that was. Robert Englund talks about how the times was back then and how it's changed and different things. It's just really engrossing and endearing, and it shows just a really, you know, so many different levels of this amazing person.
Sounds like a nice humanity tale.
It really is. It's a nice humanity tale, and Mark Patton seems just like a really nice person. So I mean, I'm glad he's back in the spotlight and he's embracing it now. And it seems like he's having a lot of fun now and actually getting some, some notoriety for it that he can actually enjoy rather than be embarrassed of. So I highly recommend it, cats. It's on Shudder right now.
Oh.
Scream Queen, My Nightmare on Elm Street. I loved it. But moving right along, another interesting thing happened this year. I almost wonder if it is like the apocalypse, because I never thought in a million years I would ever see Bill and Ted 3.
Right?
Trailer drop, Bill and Ted Face the Music. I have to say, I got the feels all over again.
Yeah.
Although I have to say, I was glad to see Keanu finally, because I thought he was a vampire, like from the 18th century.
Yeah.
He's finally starting to crack a little bit, cats. I was a little worried. I thought he might be like a time traveler or something.
He went into the Matrix and never came back out.
Yeah, but now he's finally. I mean, Alex Winter, he's holding it together.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, but I have to say, I get to see William Sadler's The Grim Reaper again. I got the feels all over again. I'm really excited for the trailer. What do you call it? Mind blank. Chick from Ready or Not.
Savannah, not Savannah.
Samara Weaving.
Samara, thank you.
Is Ted's daughter, and then I guess apparently the whole thing is they were supposed to unite in the future with their music, and then they grow up, and then it kind of never happened. So now they have to go back in time and try to steal the song off of their early selves when it did happen, and wackiness ensues. That's all I know, but I thought it looked pretty fun.
That's interesting.
I can't wait. So I'll tell you something I'm not excited about, and I'm not even gonna dwell on. I'm just gonna quickly go through this because I don't want to give it any. One of my favorite psychological horror films of the 80s is one of my favorite actors of the 80s too, George C. Scott. The Changeling. It's got some seriously. If you talk about ratcheting up tension, this is a prime example. If you ever want to see a slow burn to the point where it just gets you, The Changeling is an incredible film. I always think it's a really incredibly suspenseful horror film. I love it. Loved it since I was a kid. They're going to remake The Changeling. Just don't. I don't care who's directing it. I don't care who's acting. You're never going to... there's things that you just should not touch. This is one of them. I don't want to spend any more time on it.
Yeah.
Bad idea. Please don't. I know you won't listen to me, but they made another Children of the Corn movie during quarantine, so...
Oh, Lord.
If they'll do that, they'll surely make another... They'll remake The Changeling, so...
Oh, boy.
One thing, cats, I am super excited about. I know in August, there is going to be a online Fantasia Film Festival, because of the Corona apocalypse, and I can't even tell you how long I've been looking forward to seeing this film. It's going to premiere at the Fantasia Film Festival that I'm talking about. You can procure tickets sometime, I think, at the end of July, beginning of August, I think. I think there's going to be more details when it gets closer, but Trauma, hashtag Shakespeare Shitstorm. You know how much I love the Trauma. You know how much I love my real dad, Lloyd Kaufman.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see this film. Super hoping to get a ticket so I can review it. If I do, you'll see the review here. Can't wait. Viva la Trauma. So anyway, moving right along. There's been so many postponements and cancellations and things all year. Just today, I like music, everything. It's killing me, man. I wanted a new Kill Lincoln album. They're postponing things. I was looking forward to the Aquabats. They're postponing around till August. But I understand. There's a lot of crazy things that we should really be focusing on that are way more important. This is an incredibly... this is a crazy time, but it's also a very important time. So
Absolutely.
I understand why people are doing this.
Right.
But
and I truly have faith for once in, I think, humanity, sort of. I have semi-faith that this might actually... Things are already changing. And it sucks that it had to take a freaking, murder and a bunch of looting and a bunch of bullshit, to go along with it. But hey, if it gets things to where they need to be in equality land, then hallelujah, Hollywood.
Agreed. But I also feel like we do need a certain amount of escapism as well.
For sure.
One thing that actually got me really excited, I got a little bit of news here. Everything that I've hold true and dear since the beginning of the Corona apocalypse has been canceled, postponed, moved, completely just gone. So I have to say, one thing that has not yet been canceled is Halloween Kills. That is the sequel to the newest Halloween film back from, I think it was 2018, I believe. And the next part, and it's still allegedly coming out in October. And I have to say, I don't know how they're going to pull it off. I'm assuming it would have to be a flashback of some kind or something, but they're actually digitally returning Loomis. I don't know. I mean, they are good at doing CGI, like where they do bring people that are, passed away back, and I mean, it could look reasonably good, but it's going to be Donald Pleasance's image.
Oh, wow.
They did actually do in the last one somebody did a really good impression of his voice, and so I mean, if pulled off correctly, I think that adds a whole interesting element to this. So one more thing before I close, you know how much I love my boys the Slackers. It's very hard for bands right now because they can't perform, and they're going to have their very first show of 2020. You can grab a ticket at www.livefrom.events/The Slackers. It's this Sunday. Actually, if you're watching this right now, it is today. And I believe they perform at 6, but there's a bunch of bands before that, such as Jesse Wagner and the Agrolites, and a lot more. So $10. Shit,
that's pretty sweet.
You can't even go to McDonald's for $10, but you can see an incredible concert with tons and tons of ska, and the first show of the Slackers cats. So please support these cats. They're friends of mine, and they really, really could use some hand right now, because I mean, as we preached, this is a terrible time for artists, musicians, filmmakers, all that, and they're just a bunch of great guys, and I love them. So please get a ticket, check out the show. Other than that, we have an incredible interview. Speaking of ska, have an incredible interview with Catbite today. So why don't you check that out? What do you think, Xtina? Why don't you do your Depravity Corner, and then we're going to have an incredible interview with Catbite, and we're going to call it a day. Fuck it.
We can do that. And just one quick thing in music news, too, I wanted to share. And I mean, this is kind of not your thing, but some of our people may be a fan. Dashboard Confessional.
I heard about that.
The singer Chris Carrabba, he fell off his motorcycle. I don't know if he fell off his motorcycle, but he had a bad wreck, and he is in the hospital, and they need our help. So if there's anything Dashboard you've ever wanted, now's the time to check out whatever they have on. I would go directly to their site, since probably money would go directly to them, I would imagine. I'll
put a link up too.
I'm sure he's too humble to set up a GoFundMe, but I would imagine somebody's going to set that up for him, because I mean, they've been struggling as it is, not being able to tour, and he's been doing a lot of live streaming things and that, and he had a pretty bad accident. I mean, he has to have several surgeries. I'm guessing things are broken. And he actually went on his Instagram and thanked the companies who made his helmet and who made his boots and the different things like that, because you tend to take that stuff for granted until you're
until you're in that situation.
And he really truly believes that those particular brands of things that he had on saved his freaking life. So thank God for that. But the poor guy, he has a long road ahead of him, and I've met him before. He's a little guy. He's smaller than my cat. I mean, he's just I bet you my 11-year-old daughter is taller than him. I'm not even kidding. She's pretty tall, but
it's like Billy Joe short.
Yes, he is. He's like a Billy Joe Armstrong. He's just a little guy. So I mean, I feel really bad. That's a really sad, shitty thing. But yeah, support some Dashboard. Anything we can do to help them, that'd be cool. Other than that, why don't you do your thing to tell me what to do next?
Oh, you like my thing.
I like your thing.
Well, I mean, it's, obviously everybody's favorite part of the show. You know her. I love her. You love her. Xtina. let's hear the Depravity Corner this week. What's the most fucked up story you've come across?
Well, let me tell you, I was looking for some different things, and then it occurred to me, you know what? We need an update, because there's been a major, major development in a story I did for you guys a while back. In fact, I've probably talked about this a couple times already, because I'm pretty sure this is going to go down in the history of probably the most fucked up story of all time, murder-wise. What do you think I'm going to talk about?
I don't know. My head's so whirlwinded from everything every week. I couldn't even tell
Well,
you.
you'll remember this one for sure. You remember
Jog my memory.
Remember our friends in Idaho? Well, they're really not our friends, but the lovely man and woman who decided to ditch their kids and nobody knew where the hell they were.
Oh, yeah.
They ran off and got married and went to Hawaii.
Yeah. And then they were so happy they had their little guitar, and they're like, meanwhile their kids are fucking missing in action.
Nobody knows where these kids are.
Having a nice little honeymoon in luau. Yeah, them assholes.
Yeah, those assholes, yeah. Nobody could tell you where these kids are. People were, making all these assumptions that, the neighbors had them, that their friends had them, that other family members had them, and they were hiding them. And
duck, goose.
Yeah. I'm not even reading. I don't even have notes for this. I'm doing it off of my head because I know so much about this.
Are you going off the cuff?
Ridiculous. Yes, I am. So, excuse me if I ramble. But, these kids, 17-year-old Tylee and her 8-year-old little brother, who was on the autism spectrum, they've been missing. Now, even if they had put them in some sort of bunker, the whole time I'm thinking to myself, there's no way that a 17-year-old girl who they claim, is relatively intelligent wouldn't at some point have realized this isn't right, something's not right, and then realized too, probably had access to a phone or a TV and seen all the craziness that are mom's on the loose and whatever. So you think, you'd be like, oh crap, mom's going off her rocker, I better, let the world know we're okay. And I'm sure she would have wanted to get to her grandparents or to her aunt and uncle or something, So I knew deep down that they probably weren't with us anymore, especially since, and this has been weighing on my mind too, the whole reason for all of this to begin with, this Chad Daybell that this Valo woman found, he is a writer, and he writes about the doomsday. He writes very doomsday-ish stuff, tries to tie it into religion, which I call bullshit, but whatever. They claim to be religious, and they claim that, the end of the world is coming, and that she didn't want her children to have to experience that, so she sent them to a better place, which one could assume was either a bunker or, ultimately wherever. So then the Corona apocalypse happened, and then, marches for rights, all this weird shit starts happening. So now I'm I question every day, holy cow, is this lady in Idaho really maybe onto something? Because I really would hate to believe her, but at the same time, I'm oh, maybe she does know something that we don't know. I don't know. But here we are. It is now June. These kids went missing back in, I believe, September. The woman was arrested in Hawaii back in January. They extradited her back to Idaho. Her husband flew back to Idaho willingly, and he's been just, laying low. And everybody's like, well, what are they ever going to question him? Are they going to, arrest him? Whatever. They got a warrant, I guess, the other day to check out the property, and they did locate 2 bodies. And unfortunately, those 2 bodies were, in fact, those kids. So they are no longer with us, unfortunately. God rest their souls. Can't help but think they're in a better place, given their crazy mother and the way of the crazy world at the moment. So, what are you going to do? But pray for the families. Hope they can, get through it. At least they have closure. I mean, I know that's so cliche, but at least they know. I would rather kind of know than wonder, are they out there somewhere stuck in a cave Are they being hidden? Like, I need to get to them. Like, so it's not the outcome anybody would want, but ultimately, at least you can accept it and kind of go on. Now, they did, of course, arrest Chad Daybell. So now they're both, I don't know, they haven't been able to charge them with murder or any type of, she's been charged with child abandonment, and he's been charged with, like, hiding bodies on his property, but they can't prove yet that they were the actual murderers. And I have a theory, because this case isn't as cut as dry as it looks. Prior to these kids going missing and these two getting married, they were both married to other people. So this is the part that everybody, I think, doesn't know or tends to forget. But let's, like, flash back to, say, last summer. They were both married to other people. And her brother killed her husband. He shot him. And he claims it was self-defense, that the husband was coming at him. But he riled him up and got him all worked up so that they got into this fight, so that it looked like, you know, he had to get a gun and shoot him, which was, so, from what I hear, not the case. And the Daybell guy, his wife, 49 years old, school librarian, perfectly healthy, doesn't wake up one morning. And they say she died of natural causes. And here's the kicker. He did not. I repeat, he did not want an autopsy. Hello! They bury her. Within 2 weeks, he got, well, I don't know if he got it within 2 weeks, but within 2 weeks, he got remarried to this woman.
What a coincidence.
Yeah, right? What a coincidence. And he got about $430,000 from his dead wife's insurance policy. And then they're magically in Hawaii with no children. So I can't wait to see how this all plays out. I just pray that they are able to get the proof that they need. And they did exhume that woman's body, the wife that died, and they did an autopsy, but they never released the information, because we're all assuming that she was drugged, you know, and so it hasn't been released. And I think this is why they've been waiting to release it, because, you know, they need to get better, stickier charges, in other words, because they want them to stick. So we can hope. But I have a funny feeling that that brother killed the kids, because I think those two are probably too pussy to do it themselves. They just come up with all these schemes. But here's the irony. I thought the brother killed himself. He did not. I don't know how you could fake this, or how you couldn't do this to yourself, but he died in December of a blood clot. So I don't think that that's something that you can bring on yourself, is it? I mean, maybe you can take something, but maybe he overdosed on something that gave him a blood clot. I don't know. That seems awfully odd, but at the same
karma
time,
catching up.
Yeah, it's either karma catching up, or, you know, I don't know. But I think it's awfully ironic that he just happened to die when they're looking for these kids, because it had been already 2-3 months into the missing kids, and his sister would have been running away with this man and stuff like that. So it's just so fascinating to me, and these people are just scum of the absolute earth. I hate hearing these kind of stories. I hope they never happen again. Unfortunately, they probably will. But, you know, watch out if you see any weird people acting strange. Because, you know, her friends even were saying, like, yeah, she did start acting a little strange and making these, you know, comments. That's where they got it. I think a friend heard her say, you know, I think the kids would be better off if you know, because the end of the world's coming. And she would say all this crazy shit, but, like,
well, how come they didn't kill their cell phone?
Yeah, right, exactly. Right.
That's the case.
Exactly, right. So, they're loons. You know, that's all that can be said. And may they be prosecuted and
burn in hell.
Yeah, there you go. That's how I feel as well, boss. You couldn't have said it better. With that exciting news, let's get on to happier things like Catbite.
Check it out, cats. I'm super excited to give you this interview. They were fantastic.
They were.
You got to check them out. They're one of the best modern ska bands around. So check out my interview with Catbite, and we will see you next week. Hey now, cats, we're back again this week on the Balls from Ellwood show. And with me, I have one half of the band Catbite. I'd like to welcome Brittany and Tim.
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
These are my peeps. I have to say, I absolutely love you guys. I tell you what, I've listened to that album over and over and over again, and I'm super excited you guys have the Omnigon, the split coming up. I'm excited. Well, is that all right? Is that out already? I mean, I know you can get the vinyl, right?
Yeah, so it was literally just announced yesterday. We recorded that back in February. Our label, That Time Records, they hit us up. Mike, who runs it, he hit me up and he's like, hey, so Omnigon covered one of your songs. You should cover one of their songs and we'll make a split record. And then like each of you also do another cover. So that's what we did. We covered one of Omnigon's songs. And then we covered a Clash song, White Riot, which we released yesterday. And then Omnigon covered our song, Scratch Me Up. And they also covered a Link 80 song, which the singer of Omnigon that was his previous band. And the pre-order just went live yesterday. And
it's doing really well.
Yeah, the record, the official release date is a month from now. It's June 5th. I think that's when the official release. It'll be out on Spotify. It'll be out, and then the vinyl will be shipping out then.
See, I love that kind of split stuff, man. Reminds me like back in the day with like NoFX and Rancid, and they used to do like the splits. I love that. I hope you guys do more of that stuff. It's really cool.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited about it. And yeah, like she was saying, like it's been doing really well. It launched at 9 a.m. yesterday, and we've sold 180 copies already of the 7-inch.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm going to put the link up at the end of the show here too, so people know where to get it. So, but I want to get to you guys are from Philadelphia, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yes,
that's correct.
Like, was you musical? Like, were you musical growing up? Was you always into music? Was this what you you had anticipated doing in life, or how did that come about?
I mean, I've been singing since I was like 5 years old. My dad used to like take me. My dad is a singer, so I think that's like where I got my love for music, and he would take me to like I remember there was like talent shows at the mall, and he would just be like, go up there, and I would sing. And so I started with my love of music from a really young age, and then I studied it in school. I went to a state college in Orlando for my AA degree in music performance, and then I wanted to continue specifically in jazz, so I came to Philly to study at University of the Arts for jazz voice. So I kind of have always been in music.
Yeah, this is like your first real band.
This is my first real band that I mean, I was in a band in Orlando, but I was a background singer. This is like my first time kind of fronting anything really besides like jazz band things. Yeah,
and for me, I didn't really grow up that musical. I played drums in band when I was in school, but I didn't actually pick up a guitar until I was 18, about 10 years ago. I literally learned guitar to join my first band because my best friends in high school started this band called the Snails. And
holy cow, I know the Snails. They're the Dark Blue Lights now, right?
Yeah, so
I actually had seen them back when they were the Snails, man. They're really good.
Yeah, I was in that.
Are you serious? I've seen you before then, man. You got
actually, and also our bass player was also in that band. So yeah, like I
never knew that. That's amazing.
Yeah,
I was a fan of you guys before I was a fan of you guys.
Wow.
Yeah, because like I mean that was like the band that I was in. I learned how to play guitar to be in that band, to be like the rhythm guitarist, and I was in that band for 9 years. I quit about 2 years ago. I left the band, and then that band actually they're no more as of maybe like 5 months ago.
Oh wow! I didn't know they broke up for good.
Yeah, it's like unofficial, official done, but yeah, like Ben, our bass player, he's he joined the Snails maybe 6 or 7 years ago. So me and Ben have been playing music for, a long time. We also went to high school together.
Awesome.
But yeah.
I mean, you had said your parents were supportive, obviously, because you were musical. But Tim, was your parents supportive when you started music, or they were just like,
I mean, by the time I started playing guitar, I'd moved out already. So
you don't have
like,
to worry about it.
yeah, I mean, I pretty much started playing guitar when I was like in college. Pretty much like the end of my senior year is when I started playing guitar, and like, yeah, I mean, the main way I learned guitar was me and the singer of the Snails. We would go busking at the market in Lancaster where we grew up, and then yeah, here we are.
Let me ask you this: when did you guys first develop the love of ska? Was there one instance that stands out that then you're chasing the dragon afterwards? Like I could think of my one definitive moment where once I heard it, like it became a way of life. Like, do you have that one moment that stands out?
Well, for me, like I started like when I was in like maybe 9th grade. I graduated from listening to like Linkin Park to just generic, like I didn't have like internet. I didn't really have there wasn't really a music scene or a punk scene or anything, except my friend Todd, who is the singer of the Snails. We were in high school together, and he kind of actually I kind of got into listening to like Rancid because I saw this kid at my school. He had a Rancid shirt, and I like looked it up, and he had like an Anti-Flag shirt, and I started getting into that. But then Rancid kind of threw me into the whole Hellcat Records through Give 'Em the Boot compilations, and which I got from the singer of the Snails, Todd. He sent me a Give 'Em the Boot, and that's where I got into like Westbound Train, the Agrolites, the Slackers.
Slackers are my good buddies, man. I love them guys.
Yeah. So like that was that, and the Clash. Just those were my favorite things. Like 9th, 10th, 11th grade, 12th grade in high school, and then me and Todd just somehow learned about all the Trojan shit. Learned
Nice.
This is where it came from. It's the 1960s in Jamaica, and then that's just where it all. Then that's pretty much what we were obsessed with forever.
I think for me, I honestly didn't really listen to ska like growing up, but within like the last 6 years, I'd say I really have been like getting more into it, obviously. And once I started like playing keys and singing in like ska music and like reggae music, it's where I feel like the most at home as a performer. I've literally never felt, even with jazz, and I love jazz, but like I've never felt as like happy and just like feel good as I do when I play ska music or reggae music or rocksteady. So
It definitely shows in your music, and you definitely make everyone else happy, so that's amazing.
I hope so.
Tell me how the band got together initially. The Snails, but how did you all kind of form together like Voltron?
So I guess a couple months before we like kind of officially started is when I left the Snails. I was currently playing like in a punky power pop band. It wasn't like anything serious. Like we were just it was just like a fun thing, and like I needed to have something like serious again, and like we had been like slowly like writing music together. We're married, which that
I think that's awesome. I wished you guys a happy anniversary. It's nice to see a couple, like a happy couple in the music industry, like you guys make me smile all the time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But yeah, like we just kind of started writing music like without any regards to genre or anything.
Yeah.
And we had like a couple of songs that we wrote, like we wrote like a little EP for like one of her school projects, and then I don't know, I just kind of missed playing ska. Like that was one of the main reasons I left the Snails. We weren't that like the Snails, which then became the Dull Blue Lights. They
We're like headed in a different kind of direction.
Yeah, it was like we weren't playing anything Jamaican influenced.
I'll be honest with you, that's when I got turned off. Like when they became the Dull Blue Lights, I stopped listening to them, in all honesty.
Yeah, like it was like the peak Snails was this cool, you know, rock and roll, bluesy, punky ska that like has its roots, and like that was when I was like at my peak happiness playing shows. That's when I like, you know, loved playing shows, and I guess I kind of like stopped listening to ska for a little bit, and then I just kind of, I think I just rediscovered it, and like I was working with, I just started working with my friend Johnny, who would end up being our original bass player of Catbite, and me and him would be working, driving around our work truck together, and just like listening to a lot of like two-tone stuff. We'd listen to a lot of Selector, and just kind of like, I didn't have that, that was the first time in a while I had someone to like really talk to about like cool music that we were on the same page. And then I don't know, I just kind of wanted to start another ska band, but the type of ska that I want to listen to, because I love all the spectrums of ska, but
so do I. There's definitely subgenres for sure.
Yeah, and like there's not a lot of what I specifically want. I want to hear rock and roll, ska, punk, not too heavy, like, you know, what Catbite became. Like that's I've always lived by, I don't even know if it's a real quote, but like, be the band you want to hear, you know? So that's kind of what happened. And we just started taking those songs that we started writing together and trying to
we just like molded them into what we thought would work best. Whether it was like strictly ska or not. But we just have so many influences, I think, that like work really well in ska music. So I think it's just easy for us to be able to write songs like that.
Yeah.
Especially because we do enjoy it so much.
Yeah. And then pretty much, I told some people that I was starting a ska band, and then my friend Brent, who books a lot of shows, he's like, does your new band want to play this show? Which was with Joystick and the Fad.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, let's do it. It's 3 months from now. I'm sure we'll be a band by then.
We didn't have a drummer.
We didn't have a drummer.
We didn't have any demos.
And then,
but we had our first show booked.
So that was
nice.
That deadline was like approaching, and then
we were like, "Ooh, okay.
Yes, we need to do this." Like, and then we ended up going into the studio and recorded a Little Richard's, rest in peace.
That's a bummer, man. He was a
Little Richard cover, and a Selector cover, and an original. We had those 3 demos. And I think, we played maybe 5 or 6 songs that show.
Yeah, that was when we recorded those demos too. Our drummer, Chris, that was the first time he had played with us, right?
Yeah, we never even practiced with him. We just said, meet us at the recording studio. He's one of our best friends, and we originally wanted him in the band, but he was too busy. He was
kind of busy at the time, and we had another drummer, and it just didn't work out. So we were like, Chris, just show up to the studio, and like we'll just knock it out. And then he fucking knocked it out.
Yeah, and then we just kind of just kept telling him to show up until he realized that we were in the band. So that's pretty much how we started.
You had mentioned earlier about influences. Can you tell me some of your influences that went into making this album? Because like there's you can tell there's tons. It's so we're layer upon layer upon layer, and it's amazing. Can you name some of your main influences?
Little Richard for sure is like a huge influence for us. Just like that rock and roll and like soul. So it's just so good.
Confidence.
Yeah, and just like just as a performer himself, like we love that. Just like show offy, but like for a reason, because he's fucking great. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, like for me, like the Clash, Elvis Costello.
Oh, it's my man.
Like
covered Sneaky Feelings. Oh my gosh, I lost my shit when I first heard that, man. I was like, yes.
I mean that's like one of like Elvis Costello is up there on my favorite musicians, but that album, My Name Is True, is probably
oh my gosh,
the best record. Yeah.
I probably went through like 6 copies of that. I've like worn it out so much. I mean, if I had to compile my top 10 records of all time, it's definitely in the top 3 for sure.
Yeah. yeah, we pretty much like, you know, I wanted it to have, I wanted people to like know that we listen, like we all listen to 1960s Jamaican music, like everything from, you know, the Starlights, dance hall, rocksteady, moonstomp reggae, but then like I don't know, I just kind of we just kind of all wanted it to be like
more than just one single idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's so hard. It's like hard to explain.
Yeah, basically everyone likes so much shit, and the main rule of this band is like we don't want it to confine to just one genre.
Yeah,
like that's the thing, like that I think sticks out in all the bands I like. Like if you listen to The Clash, if you just like sit down and listen to their discography, it's just ridiculous. There's no consistency at all, and that's why like they're the greatest band of all time, because they play what they want, they play what they're listening to, and make it their own.
Yeah,
using just pulling their influences.
Has being in a band ever put a strain on your personal or friendship or just, you know, platonic relationships? Is it hard to have that balance between band life and like personal life?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard just in general when, I mean, obviously not right now because a lot of people are out of work, but like all four of us had like full-time jobs, and it's just hard to like find time to get together, even just for us to schedule a band practice, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So like if it's hard for the four of us who play shows together all the time to find time together, it's hard on just like finding time to hang out with your friends that are not maybe in the music scene because you're trying to find time to do the music stuff, you know what I mean? So
yeah, definitely. I mean, like I don't know, I've been playing music in bands for about 10 years, and like that's pretty much sculpted my life. Like
it's definitely a balance.
Yeah, like I dropped out. I've only had jobs where I know, like going into a job, the main thing is, am I going to be able to play shows? Am I going to be able to tour? Am I going to be able to do that? And that's kind of how we're all in that same boat. Like,
yeah,
like it's, you know, it's definitely hard.
Especially at the beginning too, like, you know, everyone has to work to make money. So like if you have to like take off of your job to go to a show, to like, you know, drive to a show that day, you're losing out on money. But I think in the beginning maybe of this, it was like a little harder to say no to losing out on money and playing a show. But now it's more like, I wish I didn't have to go to my stupid fucking job so that I could just play this show.
I totally get that. I wish I could do this for a living and not go like deliver furniture.
Right. Yeah. It's like, why?
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you this: what is of the all bands you played with thus far? Who had the most impact on you?
Well, I mean, I haven't really been in very many bands.
Wait.
And all the
Wait, all the bands we've played with, like
yeah, of anybody you played with thus far.
Oh, that we've played with?
like.
Oh, okay. Well, I just have to say, Kill Lincoln, I think for me has had like the biggest. First of all, I fucking love all of them.
Oh, I do too.
They are so wild and crazy, and their shows are so good, and it's just like it makes me really happy watching them play. And it makes you want to like play your best show ever.
Mm-hmm.
Watching them, and
they've been so supportive from the start.
Yeah.
I mean, especially like Mike, who is the singer and runs Bad Time Records. Like he's the reason why we've done anything. Like, I mean, he literally after our first show and we had those demos, he reached out to me and was like, I'm starting this record label. I've known him for a while with the Snails and stuff. I wasn't like that close with him, but like we've known each other for a while, and he just kind of like, he's like, I trust what you guys are doing. Would you like to be on my label? And then ever since then. And then for me, I think the coolest band we've played with. Well, not coolest, just the most impactful. We played the Skanksgiving show at Starling Ballroom back in November, and on the bill was Suicide Machines.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
They're one of my all-time favorite bands. Like at least they're just cool, and I just like knowing Jay. He's just like the most real human being I've ever met in my life. Like he's a great singer, he's a great songwriter, he's hands down like just good person. And we played. There was like 6 or 7 bands on the bill. We played, and then Suicide Machines goes on. I'm watching them like,
we're like
this
in
is
the
awesome.
middle.
And then all of a sudden, in between songs, he's like, "How about Catbite?" And then just starts singing the chorus to one of our songs.
Nice.
Like that's catchy. I'm like, I wrote that song. Like that was, I don't know. That was just like one of the coolest moments in being in a band history. Just like to have like an idol of yours, just like in the middle of a show, just
To like thousands of people.
Yeah.
It was wild. Yeah.
so that was cool.
I love him. I've been trying to get him on the show, but I can't seem to get in touch with him. But that new album is shreds. Have you heard the new Suicide Machines album?
Oh yeah, it's been on repeat.
Shit, man. They never disappoint, I have to tell you. But
Yeah.
Long, I want to ask you, if you could pick like a dream band that you could play with, like who would you choose?
I mean, I would just say the Clash because they're my favorite band of all time, and like also we're pretty good friends with the Pie Tasters, and
So am I. I love them guys.
actually they actually played our wedding reception.
Are you serious? That's
Yeah.
so awesome.
They're like
Steve is the
they're-
best. Steve is the best, man. Oh,
He's amazing.
Yeah, and like one of my favorite things to do is talk to them about when they went on tour with Joe Strummer and the Mescaleros, and they just like all of them just like have all these stories about how supportive and cool Joe Strummer was like to them, and like just like every night, like you guys are awesome, and like just like being like their own like hype man, but meanwhile they're opening for him like on this tour, and like
that's amazing.
they're definitely the most influential band for me of all time. So
I'm still scarred. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, you go ahead.
I'm still scarred from the story that Steve told me about them eating human burritos.
What?
oh, I gotta ask him about that.
Ask him the human burrito story. You won't be disappointed. Tell him Balls told you to ask about the human burritos. I can't even do it justice the way he tells it because he acts it out, and you have to hear this shit, man. Just
Oh
All right.
my god.
We'll do that.
I'm like excited but also nervous to ask this.
so was I.
For me, I think I would say right now, like one of my favorite bands is The Suffers. I don't know if you've ever heard of them, but they're from Houston, Texas, and they're fucking rad. They call their genre Gulfstream Soul, but they're so good. They're so amazing. They're really good friends of ours, but they're like perfect. Their show is perfect. They have it down to a T, and it's every time we've seen them, I don't know, a handful of times.
7, 8 times.
Yeah,
something
and
like that.
it's always such a good show, and I would love to play with them.
Yeah.
I'll have to check them out. I'm actually not familiar. You stumped me today. I got
Yeah, they're like a 9-piece like soul, jazz, reggae,
They're so
literally like Afrobeat, like you name it. Like they're kind of like
they started as a ska band too.
They just members of Stingers from Austin, Texas are in that. Yeah, but they're also like they're one of those bands that like they just do what they want.
Yeah.
Like genre wise.
They don't just like
they don't
stick
confine
to one
themselves.
route. It's like they pull from here and here and here, and like the way it combines is so good. Yeah, you gotta check them out. It's so good.
I'm going to totally check them out. Totally off the beaten path here. I'm going to ask you some goofy questions. What do people do in regular society that pisses you guys off?
Well, right now, people who aren't wearing their masks outside.
Oh, thank you so much. Oh, my
Yeah.
gosh. Like, I've been on Facebook, and there's people that I think I've known my whole life that I feel is, like, relatively intelligent. And then
Yeah.
it's like not wearing a mask shit and all this other shit. And I'm like, I don't think I can ever respect these fucking people again in my life. Nor on like look at them. Like I can't believe. Oh, thank you. What a breath of fresh air.
It's
Yeah.
it's really fucking stupid.
Yeah, like I have like an essential job. Like I've been working 10-hour days like since this all started, and for the past 3 weeks, I have to wear a mask all day for 10 hours at a time, and it's just like, and then like I'm outside a lot while I'm working too, and I'll just see all these people not wearing masks, jogging, just like living, just like ignoring
Like,
all these things.
Nothing's happening. Yeah.
And then meanwhile, it's just like so frustrating. Like if
I
I can do this for 10 hours at a time at my job while working on bikes and stuff, you can wear a mask when you walk to the store.
seriously, I don't even like people act like you're asking for their firstborn or something. You're wearing a mask and you're sitting on your fucking couch. I mean, come on.
Exactly.
What would you cats think you'd be doing had you not pursued this path?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I guess, I don't know. I don't know. This has always been my dream to play music and tour and play shows and write music, and this has always been what I've wanted to do. So I don't think I can't even imagine something else.
I would open up a food truck.
Nice.
That's always been my like backup plan.
Sam's a really, really good cook.
That's always been like my dream is all right to be like big and famous in a band, like big enough and famous enough in a band where I could bring a food truck on tour with me, set up the food truck outside of a venue and cook people some food before the show while they're waiting,
And then go up.
and then go and play a show. That's like my dream.
They'd be
Well,
sitting
right now,
there eating they'd be eating their taco, like, that's the motherfucker just made my taco. Holy shit.
That's my
Brilliant,
dream.
actually, you should do that.
If there's a way to make it happen, maybe one day. But yeah, that's the only thing I could see myself doing is starting like a food truck or something. Not working in a restaurant. That sounds terrible. But that was my first job, was like working as a sandwich maker in this restaurant. I mean, that taught me how to cook and stuff. But
Yeah. I mean, I feel like if I wasn't doing music, I would just be bartending, which I do now, and also do music, and I would just end up being that like bartender that's been at the same bar for like 30 years, knows everybody.
yeah,
Is there a best and a worst experience that you can come up with from playing your shows thus far?
I mean, the best for me is definitely that whole Suicide Machines thing. That was just cool.
The best moment for me was when we played Blue Beat in DC, and it was the second time we played, because we played it once before, and it was like pouring rain and not very many people came out. The show was fine, but the second time we played, a lot of people showed up, but there was one person in the crowd who, like, I could only really see her, I think, and she sang every single one of our songs, like,
Oh, nice.
word for word, and I was like up there in shock because I had never seen that before, but it was like the most amazing feeling, like people really are like listening.
Yeah, seeing people singing your songs is the coolest thing ever. Like, it's just cool, even if it's one person, but like if there's like multiple people,
it's crazy.
It's just nuts.
It's just like mind blowing. That in that moment I was like, man, it just like hit me. I was like, people really are listening to us. Like I knew that already, but it was, I don't know, it fucked me up.
And then worst?
I don't think I've had like a worst experience. I mean, you've played in a lot more bands and played a lot more shows than I have. I mean, the worst thing for me is right now, like not being able to play shows and play music at all.
I mean, we're playing music, just not live.
Not live music.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't know. I mean, shows.
It's like if you have like a bad show, you like immediately forget about it when you have your next show and it's fucking
It
great.
just kind of erases the last
And
one.
you just like, yeah, you just like totally forget that the last one was shit
Mm-hmm.
because this next one was like so good, and then that's all you can think about.
Yeah.
What's the best gift anybody's ever given you?
My Nord, I guess you bought my Nord.
I mean, you're still paying for that. Best gift?
Well, anytime Tim makes me food, it's a gift, so it's always really delicious.
If you're gonna open a food truck, I'm sure you can throw it on, man. Holy cow. You're making me hungry.
I'm pretty good. I made some we're both like we don't eat meat or dairy. We're both vegan and stuff. I made some like cheesy grits with like fake eggs and fake chicken and stuff for breakfast.
Delicious.
Bunch of veggies and stuff.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Still trying to think of a good gift. I definitely. What have you gotten me before? Or what's anyone gotten me? I guess. All right. Let's go with this. It's not even. It's technically not a gift, but I got back in December. I've been at my job for about 5 years, and it's a great company. I work for the city of Philadelphia's bike share system, so it's kind of like the city bike, citywide bike rental, and I like repair and build the bikes and stuff.
Super cool.
And it's a great company, and every December they give us like a nice like holiday bonus, but it was our first profitable year in 4 years, so I was in the middle. I was at a recording studio with our friend Jimmy Doyle from the band Fad, and we were like working on a record. And then I open up my email and I see from my boss, in addition to your yearly bonus, we're giving you an additional $2,500 bonus because it's our first profitable year. And so like about 5 minutes later, I had this guitar in my guitar.
Not even 5 minutes later. That's awesome.
That's I guess a gift. It's been my dream guitar ever since, pretty much since before I even started playing guitar. When I saw Laura Jane Grace from Against Me.
Oh, I just had her on a couple shows ago. Oh my god.
She's like.
Don't even get me started. I love them so much. Oh.
Yeah, but like just seeing her, I picked up before I even played guitar. I randomly got the Against Me New Wave CD and DVD combo.
Oh, nice.
And it has like a DVD of them playing at the Key Club in Los Angeles. And it's like a full concert. And I watched that thing probably 8,000 times, and I just wanted to be her. Like, she's just so cool with her fucking Rickenbacker 360, all like black, and I don't even care if it sounded like shit. I just wanted to be that. It's just such a cool guitar. So, but luckily it sounds amazing.
Nice. I just put together a compilation video for when she was touring with the Devouring Mothers.
Oh yeah.
I'll send it to you. It's like they did practically the whole album, and I caught like most of it. And the foot, I was like maybe 5 feet away, and it was so.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I'll send it to you.
Yeah, we were at the Philly
really,
show.
really good. Great show. But let me ask you this: what do you feel people do too much of these days?
There's a lot of that.
Yeah.
Masturbate, right?
That's true. Or maybe not enough. That's why people are so angry.
Yeah.
Maybe we're on to something here.
I feel like, at least in like, I mean, it's probably like this in most cities, but like in Philly, people are kind of like angry. Everyone just always seems like they're like in a bad mood. So I just wish people would just kind of, I know everything fucking sucks right now, but like, you don't have to walk around like an asshole all day long and be mean to everyone. You know what I mean? Just like be nice. Wish people would be nice.
Yeah, I think the thing that people do is they take their issues out on others.
Yeah.
Like that's a thing that that's like the root of it all, is like the lack of empathy.
Yeah.
Whether it's like a driver getting mad at a bicyclist, or a bicyclist getting mad at a driver, and they end up like,
I always do try to like think like maybe that person just like is running late because something happened and this and that, but like sometimes it's just like I would just appreciate it if people would just choose to be nicer,
or just
like make a conscious effort.
Yeah, and just
Think about other people.
Think about the bigger picture and put yourself in other people's shoes.
I couldn't agree more. What's the best piece of advice anybody's ever given you?
Jesse Wagner from the Agrolites told me to drop out of school and buy a van. I dropped out of college and I bought a van. It was at the Milk Boy in Philadelphia.
Now that you think about it.
that literally,
the best advice
it was a drunken conversation. My old band, the Snails, we just played with the Agrolites at this cool venue in Philadelphia. We were outside just smoking and drinking. We were all drunk, and like I was just talking to Jesse Wagner, and like he's like, you know, you can always go back to college, but you're young. I was probably like 22, 23 at the time. No, I was still in college. I was probably 21. He said, you know, you can always go back to college, but this is the time that you want to be a musician. Like if you don't be a musician, like go 100% right now, it's going to be a million times harder down the road. And I literally took that advice, didn't go back to school that next year, spent my life savings on a 15-passenger van, and then that's when the Snails started touring. And I put 150,000 miles on that van. I recently got rid of it, but like that was like that conversation is what made me want to. I was like, yeah, it's like, yeah, I do need to do that. Why am I in school right now? I'm in college because my mom told me to go to college.
Not because you want to be.
Yeah, so that's hands down the best advice I was ever told.
Yeah. Mine, I don't know if it was so much advice as my dad telling me that I wasn't allowed to get braces, but I never liked to have a gap in my teeth.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really not big, but I just never liked it growing up, you know, because as a kid, you just get made fun of for like every little thing. And my dad said to me, Madonna has a gap. Look at Madonna. Look at Madonna's gap. Look at where she is. And I was like, all right, I guess I'm just going to have this gap. And I kept it, and I really like how my gap looks now. I think it's what makes me unique.
I can't think of like a time where like I wasn't, you know, publicly destroyed in high school. Like I had like probably 50 different things going on. When you're a fat kid and you look like me, man, oh, forget about it. So it kind of shapes you into who you are today. So I kind of really don't regret it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's how I feel. I'm glad I never had braces, because then I think it would have just made me feel different than I do now.
What inspires you guys to write music?
What? Say that again. I'm sorry.
What inspires you to write music?
Oh, I don't know, a lot of things. I think for me, it's like emotions, just like how I'm feeling, things that I'm feeling.
For me, like I'm just always like, I just have like the longest note on my iPhone, like, you know, and like your notes, you just can like write stuff. It's just one page, and it's just like phrases or just like little shit that I think about all the time, and it's just probably like 20 pages long. I just like jot little things down, and I just like, it's rare that I just like sit down and write a song.
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of have those there to like almost as like triggers for like if I want to write a song, and like
that happens to me too. But for me, it's like sometimes I'll be asleep, and then like I'll have like words just kind of like float through, and I see them, and then I'll wake up and write it down, and then that will like maybe it won't even be a melody, just be like words that I saw, but like seeing that written down on paper will kind of like spark the rest of it.
Yeah, and like a lot of our songs, it's like, I don't know, like a lot of times it's like we need to write a song. All right. And then we go to our notes and just, I don't know. That's usually how our songs come together. It's just like,
it's just organic.
Yeah. It's just like, I need to write a song. Let me just go into this, and like, I'll start pulling from like things that I've written down that maybe I feel differently about now. And and sometimes like I can like look through like my notes and just like, I'm feeling this way this time. And like maybe 6 months later, I wrote this down, and like, those go really well together. And then that kind of just creates a story, or it makes a chorus, and then I build, and then, you would build something on that, or that builds a verse, and I'm like, all right, and then I'll just go from there, and just piece by piece. But,
so you're laying down a foundation, and then everything else is kind of stacking on top of it.
Yeah, I think it's rare. I don't even remember us like sitting down and just like writing a full out song.
Yeah.
Interesting. What's the thing that you feel you can't live without?
Thing that I can't live without. Cookies. Oreos, to be specific.
Yeah, Oreos are good.
That is pretty good.
Have you had the peanut butter ones? Those are our favorite right now.
I have not. This is a game changer. Where do you find these at?
I guess it's the grocery store. We just got them at our local grocery store. But yeah, it's just peanut butter in the middle, and they're so good.
Oh, man. That might be my thing I can't live without here pretty soon.
Yeah, like a peanut butter cream thing.
So good.
I would say tacos for me. I love tacos. Oh yeah, we like food.
If you could disinvent one thing, what would you pick?
Disinfect?
Disinvent.
Oh, I was like, disinfect? I would like, there's this whole coronavirus.
I would disinvent the way the toilet paper roll is apparently supposed to go, because it doesn't matter.
You always put it wrong. She goes from the back.
It doesn't matter.
That is my family, and then I turned around the other way just to piss them off.
It doesn't matter. No, it doesn't.
You don't want to reach under to grab the paper. You want to just...
It's the same distance. That's what I would do, so that there's no... You can't take anything.
All right, well... I'm gonna disinvent.
I'm gonna disinvent toilet paper, so then everybody.
Well, we got a bidet, so.
Oh man, are you serious?
Yeah, we got the Tushy.
Oh, that's the best gift you ever got me.
Yeah, I got it for
bidet for our first anniversary.
For our 1 year.
Is it really worth it, man? I sort of want one.
They're so good.
Yeah, they're like $70, and you just put them in between the toilet and the seat. You just take the toilet seat off, you install it, and then there's like a little arm hose that just taps into the water supply, and then it's got a control on it, and
it's great. I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
I would recommend, we got the one that doesn't change temperature.
Yeah,
it's fine, but you could get one that you can do warm or cool.
There's one that's like $95 that you can adjust the temperature on it. This one is just the temperature.
So that's like the Cadillac of bidets then, right?
Yeah.
We got the Honda Fit of bidets. It's practical.
It works.
I don't know if I'd want the cold one when I first wake up in the morning.
It's not cold. It's like it's lukewarm on the colder side.
I mean,
I don't have a problem.
Is there any upkeep on it though? I kind of feel like it'd be gross.
What?
No, it doesn't.
Upkeep on it? You don't ever have to touch it?
I mean, you can just.
You don't poop on it because when you turn it on, so it like kind of it's got like a turtle head where it like you twist the knob and like the part like pops out and then it.
Oh, okay.
It's cool. It's called.
You're selling me here. I might have to get that.
Yeah, Tushy. All right, I got to disinvent something real quick.
Oh yeah, okay.
Shit.
What are you looking around?
I'm just looking around to see if there's something I don't like. Yeah, I got nothing. I don't know. I like adventure.
No whammy, stop. If you could be a member of a TV sitcom family, who would you pick? I think I'd fit with the Connors personally, but I don't know. Or Alf. I'd be on Alf's family, I think, because I like it.
Oh, Alf.
Really?
I want to be on. Who do I want to be on?
Who's rich? I'd be the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Oh my
There you
goodness.
go.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what would be a good one. That's a good one. Damn.
I mean, you could be my family.
I would probably want to be in Full House because they give a lot of hugs and it just seems really nice there.
It does.
And Bob Saget.
Stamos is hot, so.
Yeah, right? Full House.
Hey, what's the craziest thing you cats ever did on a dare before?
Oh my gosh. I don't know.
I'll tell you mine if it'll make you guys feel more relaxed.
All right.
I walked by the Borders once. I don't know, they don't exist anymore, but it was a big bookstore with a big picture window. And my buddies dared me to drop my pants and walk by this piano recital nude. And I stopped the piano recital.
Wow,
They're
that's
like,
great.
wow, that's the ugliest looking woman I've ever seen walk by the store. You know, that's kind of what.
Whoa, that's cool.
Stop that one.
Yeah,
I think,
on a dare.
I don't know if it was a dare. I think it was a dare. I don't know. I used to pretend I was a pirate when I was a kid. My porch was the pirate ship. I think someone told me to jump off the ship, and I did, and I hurt my ankle for life. It's still fine. It just doesn't have the full range of motion.
The life and times of a pirate.
I don't know. I can't even think of anything right now.
No.
I feel like I haven't done no one's dared me in a while, so I don't know. I feel like it would probably have been to eat something gross, which I probably would have done.
All right, fair enough. In a biopic on Catbite, who would you guys want to play yourselves?
Shannon Sossman.
Yeah, Shannon Sossman for her. They're basically twins anyways.
Apparently, I look like her, and people tell me that often. So
I'm going to actually put up a still of her and you when I play this side by side, and we'll let everybody...
Yeah, let's see what people think. It's mostly when I have I usually always have shorter hair, but it's usually when it's darker too, when I don't have any color in it.
Yeah.
That's when I get it all the time. It'll be literally multiple times in a day. You look like that actress.
Yeah.
And I just finish it for them. Same
Be all the time. Especially before you start dyeing your hair crazy colors. It was a lot. People would be like, look like Shannon Sossman.
Look just like Shannon.
And for me, is Ryan Gosling still relevant?
We're going to have to tell them no all the time.
Can we go with, no, I don't like
Ryan Gosling?
Ryan Gosling's kind of boring now. I guess I'm boring.
No, you're not.
Wait, someone said someone recently. Oh, wait, the guy from Narcos.
Shit, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
With the mustache?
Yeah, the guy with the mustache.
Yeah, I can see that.
From the first Narcos, not the Narcos Mexico, but the original
The
Narcos.
first season.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that.
We'll have to put that still up, too. We'll let everybody decide.
Yeah, especially when I have blonde hair. My hair's naturally blonde and, not green.
If you could lock one person up in a mental institution, who would you pick?
Yeah, probably.
Timothy.
Yeah, I would agree.
Just kidding.
I'd
be locked up in there with him probably.
Yeah, I would say her. So.
You guys could bite through each other's straitjackets and free each other.
Yeah,
right.
That's called teamwork.
That.
Works.
If you could give one historical figure a wedgie, who would you pick?
Ooh.
Mine's Hitler, personally, but I mean,
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Who?
I would give Hitler a wedgie.
Yeah.
Because they hurt, right? I don't think I actually ever got a wedgie.
Oh, I got one once where like it ripped the underwear right off me, but that's a bad story a long time ago.
Oh my
That's why I
god.
can't have children right now, but that's another story.
Jesus.
Oh, who would I give a wedgie to? Trump.
That's the most popular answer. Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, Trump
They
and
said
Pence.
that's number one.
Let's give them to both of them, yeah. At the same time, right next to each other, we sneak up and like, and they're like,
Should I, is this too much info if I talk about Trump and Sunny?
if you want. She just got Trump and
I just got some, this might be too much information for some people, but whatever.
Never for the balls to Ellwood show. Come on now.
I just got this 2-pack of, it's underwear, but it's like period underwear. And so,
It's like granny panties.
yeah, kind of. I mean, they're actually pretty cute, but in the crotch area, it's like this person, it's like a small business, but this person put in the crotch area Trump's face and Pence's face, so you can just bleed all over that.
Oh man, that's classic.
Oh,
I would have probably put it in the back so I can like have a skid mark on them, but that's.
yeah, reversible.
Yeah, you can just.
You might want to drop that idea to that business fellow of yours.
I'll get those.
What's something that you've tried that you would never try again?
My mind immediately goes to food, like food that I've tried.
Oh.
But I tried I think it was like oxtail.
That shit's good.
Ew. No. I remember
Oxtail, Jamaican oxtail. I don't even eat meat anymore, but
I did not like it at all.
it's so flavorful.
What can you liken it to? Does it taste like anything else?
It's just, it kind of tastes like, I don't know. It's been a while. I had it when I was in Jamaica when I was like 10 years ago.
I did not like
It kind of tasted like maybe like pork ribs, or not even pork ribs, like beef ribs or something. I don't know. It was kind of.
I don't agree, but
I liked it. It's a big Jamaican dish, or like Caribbean.
Yeah.
There's like no food I've had that I didn't like. I feel like, except for Pop-Tarts. Fuck Pop-Tarts. Yeah.
Did somebody molest you with a Pop-Tart when you were younger?
I don't know.
Hatred for Pop-Tarts, man. That's some pent-up fucking hatred, dude.
he's never liked Pop-Tarts.
Yeah.
Never.
Wow.
Oh wait, can we go back to the wedgie question? Amish.
Yeah, let's go.
The Amish.
Oh
Yeah,
my
wedgie
God.
the Amish. You know what? You know what I don't like about the Amish? And I'm not being Amishly racist here. I used to live by some, because I
Me too.
live out in the sticks. They won't use electricity. They won't use all the stuff, but they'll come over and use your shit all the time.
Mm-hmm.
The point is, you don't use it. You're using the shit at my house. So
Yeah, what's the difference?
Yeah, and
they're
they-
moochers.
They abuse animals.
Yeah, they do abuse animals.
ew, I didn't know that. Fuck
Yeah.
the
I don't want to say all the Amish.
It's pretty like well known.
Fuck
That,
the
like,
bad Amish. The good Amish could stick around. Other than that, the animal abuse Amish, fuck you.
Well,
Yeah.
it's just like tradition for them that like animals are property. They're not pets. They're property. And
Ew,
like
I like animals better than people, to be honest with you.
yeah, and they're responsible for like a huge number of puppy mills
Yeah.
and stuff. Like I grew up in Lancaster
I
County.
never knew that. Are you serious?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so the majority of like puppy mills are Amish run, and they basically just breed the shit out of these animals and keep them in tiny little cages. It's so fucked up. There's so many. I have a lot of friends like in Lancaster growing up that like had rescues that were like ex puppy mill breeders, and they're just all fucked up. Like these like female dogs that were used as breeders, and they were like kept in basically a cupboard their whole life, and they were only used to repopulate and like. reproduce these perfect breeds that they would sell for like, thousands of dollars and stuff. So I just fuck the Amish.
Yeah, fuck the Amish. Fuck them.
All right, but anyways, back to the Pop-Tarts. Fuck Pop-Tarts.
Okay, check. Fuck. We fucked the Amish. Check. We fucked the Pop-Tarts. Check. Is there anyone for fucking?
I think those are my two least favorite things.
Okay, sounds good.
Yay.
I only got a couple more, so here we go. What's one thing that you'd stockpile if you found out today that you're never going to be able to buy again? And surely not Pop-Tarts, I know that.
Yellow rice. No, something better than that. But I do like yellow rice. It's always food. Should we not be thinking food?
Well, that's our favorite thing in the world.
I know.
Food,
That's yeah.
I would say wine.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
I'm gonna stick with yellow rice.
Yellow rice and wine.
Awesome. Do you have a good shit your pants story?
Oh my god.
Steve Jackson takes the cake again for that. Yeah. Shit your pants story I've ever fucking heard in my life.
I would absolutely love to hear that. I don't know if I shit my pants as much as I pee my pants all the time.
Yeah.
I have a really small bladder, so like I've peed my pants lots of times.
I have the bladder of a 6-year-old girl, so I piss like every 15 minutes. So I feel your pain for sure.
Yeah.
We'll be at a bar and we'll just be mid-conversation, like 5 of us, and then she'll just squat down on the ground and she'll be like, "I'm stuck. I have to pee."
It hits me so quickly that like I need to. That's like my in between. It gives me like time to like let it pass so that I don't stand up and pee my pants.
It's funny, like all of our friend groups, we know what it is. So like we'll be having a conversation. She just goes down and we just continue the conversation. Yeah. Like nothing happens. If we're in a new crowd, people are like, "Are you okay?" Everyone's like, is she okay? Does she need help? And we're like, "No, she's fine. She just has to pee."
Are you like Edie Brickell in that one video where she's like all crouched down, like shaking back and forth?
I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
So I'm more of a pee my pants. You're not cool unless you pee your pants.
Pee your pants. Consider me Miles Davis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pants story?
Didn't you poop your pants before work? Didn't you have to go poop?
Oh yeah, one time I didn't poop my pants. I pooped in a vacant lot.
Hey, that counts. I'm gonna allow it.
It was 5 years ago. It was probably 5 years ago, like to the day, because I just had my 5-year anniversary at my job, and it was like 5 days after I started.
So this is the 5-year anniversary of your poop.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's a poop anniversary for you.
So I would be like the second person that would show up to the office, because I had to be there at like 7 a.m, and most people didn't show up till like 8. And there was one person that was supposed to be there that would be there before me to like open the door, and they weren't there. And I just biked to work, and at the time lived like it was like a 3-4 mile bike ride, and it's like 7 a.m. I'm like, I really have to poop. This is bad. Please, hurry up. And I'm like brand new. I don't know anyone else at the job. I know like my boss, who doesn't show up till 9, and then this kid that was supposed to open the door. And I'm just like sitting there like crying because I pooped so bad. And it's not, there's no businesses or anything around. It's like in like a warehouse and like neighborhood district. And I was sitting there.
Especially like 5 years ago, there was like absolutely nothing. Now there's a little more around there, but still.
Yeah, so like 25 minutes of me sitting there crying. I just say fuck it, and I run across the street, and there was a vacant lot, and I just shit. It was great, just everywhere. And then you used like a leaf, and then it turns out the dude that was supposed to open it was like, he just overslept. So I would have been sitting there for another 30 minutes. So I'm glad I did what I did.
I regret nothing.
And now there's condos there. So
the poop's been built upon.
Yeah, so basically my poop birthed a condo. That's a long story short.
If you poop there, they will come. Okay, lastly, folks, if you can give my audience a message of hope in these fucked up times, what would you say?
Just stay positive. Keep doing things that make you happy. Like, take this time to focus on things that maybe you haven't had time to focus on, things that make you feel better. And just, yeah, use this time the best you can. Even if it's just to relax. If you worked constantly before and now you can't go to your job right now, but you have time to just relax and sleep as much as you want, then fucking do that. Like, whatever is gonna make you feel the best that you can right now.
Yeah, for me, it's pretty much the same thing. Like a big, like, right off the bat, we're like my work got cut a little bit, but I was still working. But like, I felt like as a musician, like I needed to use this time
To be like productive. Yeah.
To write songs, to stay relevant. And like, if I didn't, then we would fall off the face of the earth and burn out. And like, I think, and like, even if you're not in music, if you're just whatever it is you do, I feel like there's so much pressure right now, especially like looking on Instagram and Facebook. You see like, oh, my friend is building a fucking raised flower bed in his back porch, and then today he's cleaning, and today he's writing a song, and like, that was giving me a shit ton of anxiety. And like, I just like would see other people doing all this stuff on the internet, and like, you're on your phone all day now because you're not working. You just see people being productive, and like, there's a million things I want to do, but then like, there's so much that I don't know where to start, and I'm just like overwhelmed. But I like felt like I needed to do something. So like, I think the biggest thing is stay the fuck inside, wear a fucking mask, like social distance. This is a real thing. It can't get any more real than this. But while you're doing this, like, don't feel pressured to like be productive. Like, just take it, like, I don't know, make a plan, take a day off, and then maybe one day a week you're productive or something like that. Like,
if you're feeling it, go for it. If one day you wake up and you're just not feeling it, watch some Netflix and relax.
Netflix all day.
Eat some pasta. Chill out.
Chappelles from Ellwood Show with Catbite.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys. Where can we find you on the information superhighway?
We're on like all the social media.
Yeah, so we got all the social media. Instagram is Catbite, or no, just kidding.
Catbite Band.
Catbite Band. That's Twitter and Instagram. We're on Facebook. You can go to our Bandcamp, which is Catbite Band. No, Jesus Christ. It's go to our Bandcamp, which is catbite.bandcamp.com. That's where you can find all of our merchandise that we have for sale. We have a bunch of shirts. We have our vinyl record. You can buy digital downloads. I mean, that's pretty much the only way the band can survive right now is through merch sales, through record sales. We're not playing shows and getting paid and selling merch at shows, so that's
the next best thing that we can do.
Yeah, and check out. We're on YouTube, all that stuff.
We made a TikTok once.
Yeah, that didn't go too well.
No, I think it's still up there if people want to search. I don't even know what the name of it is. Catbite Band, I guess.
Yeah, but and then as far as the new 7-inch, go check out Bad Time Records, their website. That's where you can pre-order it. Just follow Bad Time Records in general. It's the newest and best like ska resource. In the world right now.
I agree. They're killing it. Thank you so much, folks. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I know them. You love them. Catbite, folks, please. I'm going to put up these links again so everybody knows how to get your stuff. I strongly encourage it. I love you, cats. Thank you for the opportunity. Peace and love.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. This was so fun.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Thanks. I'm glad we were finally able to do
finally
this.
able to do it.
Thanks. I'm going to send you that Lord Drain Grace video too, so keep your eyes open there. And
Oh,
Okay.
cool.
talking to you again sometime. So take care, folks.
Bye.
All right, I'll see ya.
See ya.